with the in the hood.
What's up? What's fly? And what's happening? Welcome back to another episode of Behind Bars, the podcast that goes behind the bars of local and national artists, as well as discusses the culture in real time. Because as I always say, a life lived, it's a bar. I am your hostess with the mostest. I'm Miss Playmont, and I'm back in the building once more. And you can see I'm flying solo this week, but that's all right because I'm actually going to give Big Play a pass for this week. You know, he really did have some things that he had to tend to. And so I'm back because as I always say, the show indeed it must go on, and we going on, and I'm super excited about the episode that we have for you today. I do have a guest that I'm hoping is going to be able to join us. They had some technical issues right as we were going on, and so I'm still hopeful that they get it worked out, and if they do, we'll bring them right in wherever we are. I'm excited about this episode because this is a song that I really think holds so much value in today's world, especially when dealing with the generation that we're dealing with now. So the song is, if you've been listening over the last few weeks, hopefully you've been checking it out. Free From It All by LECRAE. Y'all give it up for Cray, man. Give it up for Cray because Cray is the elite of the elite. I'll put it like that. And this song, Free From It All, is off his 2012 CD album, whatever you want to call it. His 2012 release, Gravity. And this was his sixth major release. And by this time, he was rivaling as among the greats. I say LECRAE is top 10 all time easy. And I'm not talking about top 10. We know he's a gospel rapper. I'm not talking about top 10 gospel rap. I'm talking about top 10 lyricists, period. And anybody got a problem with that, argue with your mama. He has been nominated for a number of Grammys, Billboard Music Awards. He's won them. He's won Stellar Awards for Best Hip Hop Gospel CD. I mean, he's done it all. Rapzilla actually described this album, the Gravity album I'm talking about, as the most important album in Christian hip hop history. And I happen to agree. It's a lot of good stuff on that album, especially the song that we're going over today. So I'm excited to get into that. But before I do, y'all know what time it is. It's playtime. Let's go.
Switching lanes, running lights, trying to race. Man, the police got behind us, trying to chase us, but they can't. I be chilling in the track, I'm with K, blowing day. Man, it's pain hitting deep, I'm calling Big for the drink. If you a bad...
Yeah, it's playtime. And playtime this week is Play My Time. Usually it's Big Play's time, but since Big Play is not here, Play My is taking over. So I seen something. I actually, because we didn't know the Big Play wasn't going to be here today, I had actually called to check with him. I said, Play, let me take playtime this week because I seen something that tripped me out. And he was like, go ahead, Ma. Turns out that he couldn't be here anyway. So that works out. I want to show y'all something and then we going to get back to playtime. But let me show y'all this first.
They talk too much, saying I can't use the N-word in this battle. My nigga, I just called you. Whoa, 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 whoa.
That's what he said.
Yikes. Yikes. Now listen. It's a lot happening here. It's a lot happening here. And it's a lot to unpack, right? So if you don't know, that is what we call a rap battle. You know, in rap battles, it's basically rappers popping their collars, talking that talk, You got to hit punchlines. The goal is to get the audience to ooh and ah, or whatever the case may be. Usually it comes at the expense of the other person, right? So they may talk about what you're wearing. They may talk about your lyrical skill. If they know you, they'll talk about your kids. They'll talk about your baby mama. I mean, it really is. There are no rules in rap battles, right? Almost no rules. It's almost no rules in rap battles because even if you've ever seen a rap battle, they get pretty contentious, right? And sometimes you think, oh man, these two got a box after this. Like the punchlines is just so scathing, they cutting, they hitting below the belt, and they get pretty riled up, right? So this rapper, I don't know where he been or what he been through, but I know one thing. That bar just cost him. He hit him right where he take his toast, as my grandpa would say. But this is what happens. I don't blame that young man. I don't blame that young man. And I'm not even about to go into who can say nigga and who can't. Y'all know who can say it, and y'all know who can't. Now, granted, it wasn't the ER, it was the A. To me, there's a slight difference, but it ain't much when it's coming from somebody that looks like him. Neither is okay for me, and I don't care what y'all say. I'm going to confess that I am a person that uses the word with the A. A lot of my people don't like it. Some of my friends don't like it. I don't care. Pray with me, don't play with me. All I'm saying is this: ER or A is not okay for that gentleman. But I don't blame him. I don't blame him. You know who I blame? I blame the fella in the blue sweatshirt. The guy that jumped to his defense when he got popped in his teeth. He is the problem because he is the reason that he felt comfortable enough in a room full of African American males to spew that word out, even though it was with an A, to spew it out in a rap battle with vitriol. He said it with his chest, didn't he? He said it with his chest. And he said it because of that gentleman. I blame him. The man in the blue sweatshirt. It is his fault because he chose to assume that position as the porcelain god, because he chose to allow that young man to call him that word, because he sought to send out that invitation that y'all like to send out to the barbecue. He can come to the cookout. Yeah, he's sending out too many invitations to the cookouts, and somebody rescinded his right to do that. And that is what happened to that young man. He had been sitting around the gentleman in the blue sweatshirt, calling him that, laughing, passing blunts, turning up drinks, rapping, capping on him, probably telling your mama jokes, and he forgot everybody ain't going. Everybody ain't going. Everybody is not going. You better, I don't care what your stance is on whether or not we should say that word or not. I think it's been firmly established who cannot. Now, it may be some question about who should be using it and who should and if we should and why do we and all like that, but it is no question about who cannot. Listen, I'm just like this. I've had friends, and I this is going to sound very cliche, but it's the truth. I promise it's the truth. Y'all check my resume. One of my closest friends is white. That is not a joke. That is not a joke at all. One of my best friends is actually white. And I've actually known a few white people that grew up in the neighborhood. They from the zone. I might even go so far as to call them zone boys. I might go so far as to call her a zone girl. And they are not of the African American persuasion. And guess what? Never, ever, ever have they used that word. Not around me. Matter of fact, they don't even seem to have a desire to use that word. And they have been ingratiated in the culture since a child. Like I've known them as long as I've known some of my best friends. Never heard of music. My good friend, who happens to be a Caucasian, listen, she know, and we was tight. We still tight. That's my dog. I'll do anything for her. She'll do anything for me. If I need her and I call her, she there on the double. No questions asked. I pray for her like I pray for my family members. But listen, she know I ain't going. And she ain't even trying to do it. So this man's um this man's mistake. I'll call it a mistake because maybe he don't mean no harm. The gentleman, the black man in the blue sweatshirt, maybe he don't mean no harm. Maybe he really do love that young man like that. Maybe he do feel like that's his NIGGA. But guess what? His actions might have cost that man a tooth. It might have cost that man a tooth. Who knows? It might have cost that man a tooth because you, even in your lackadaisical attitude towards it all, you forgot to warn him. What did you forget to warn him? That everybody ain't going. And that's playtime today.
Quit playing with me, man. You tell me get on something, I'ma do it.
Quit playing with me. Quit playing with me. I didn't mean to go off like that, but y'all gotta admit, that was something to see. That was something to see. And I had to speak on it. But we got to get to what we came here to do, right? Our guest has not been able to join yet, but guess what? We powering forward because I'm Playmon and I got this. So first we're going to look at, I'm going to play a portion of it because I do not own the rights to this music. We understand that I have to put that out there because we don't want our live to get yanked. I do not own the copyrights to this music. The copyrights remain with LECRAE and the artists that collaborated with him on this. This is strictly for educational purposes, for dialogue and discourse. And so I'm going to play this first portion, and then we're going to come back and talk about it. Let's go.
But should I fall? I'm still free from it all, it all, it all, it all.
Round of applause, I pause to take a photo op. None of it's real, it's just Photoshop. Crop out my flaws and my failures, my aches and all my ailments. And now I'm picture perfect, take all my dirt and conceal it. Really, I'm no better than any, but they pay me a pretty penny to sit and look pretty. Not too big, not too skinny. Be whatever these fans demand of me, cause otherwise they probably wouldn't love me.
Woo! Come through here, LECRAE. First of all, when he come on the track, he coming on letting you know he about to talk deep. But if I fall, I'm still free from it all. Now we know LECRAE is speaking from the perspective of being a Christian rapper who's a believer in Christ. And so in his mind, all of the fame and everything that he has, he knows that all glory goes to God, right? And so he knows that if he fall in your sight, it doesn't matter as long as he's still in the arms of God. And so that's why it starts off that way. Listen to this one. This is what I wrote down immediately on this song. It says, round of applause, I pause to take a photo op. None of it's real, it's just photoshopped. Crop out my flaws and my failures, my aches and all my ailments. Now I'm picture perfect, take all my dirt and conceal it. Let's stop right there. Because when I was looking at these bars, and we know we all do it. We use filters. We Photoshop people out of the picture who was in the picture, and all of that is to create an illusion. Let's be real. You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying we because I do it too. I mean, now I post pictures that don't have filters as well, but I use filters. I crop out different things, certain angles I know make me look better, all of that. This is the part that really hit me, and I thought about men, in particular black men. It said, not crop out my flaws and my failures, my aches and all my ailments. Now, to me, that said something. To me, that says something. That speaks to men, in particularly black men, not feeling like they can be vulnerable. Not just my flaws, not just something that is not desirable about the way I look or nothing like that. My aches and all my ailments. He feel like he even got to hide his what pains him and the things that ail him, because I believe, and like again, this is a conversation I hope to have with Play as a young black man. I believe that even illness, even hurt and pain is interpreted as weakness. It's interpreted as weakness. So when you talk about cropping out my flaws and things like that, you more so think from a woman's aspect. We don't want our blemishes to show on our face and all these different things, and we'll get to that. But that was interesting to me. Crop out my flaws and my failures, my aches and all my ailments. Now I'm picture perfect. Take all my dirt and conceal it. And see, as a Christian rapper, there's another aspect to that as well. It's because um, people expect you to be a certain way. You can't be flawed. You can't have dirt. You can't struggle with different issues according to people. Um, and so there was two things that came to mind. I thought about, what is this picture perfect illusion doing? How is it affecting our reality? And it's so sad, because this picture perfect illusion, because it's not real, because we've cropped off everything. This is social media in a nutshell. We crop out everything that's not appealing to put forth this perfect image. But what is it doing? It's causing young people, not just young people, but people that are not sure of themselves, people that are not grounded in who they are. They're measuring themselves against something that isn't even real. That isn't even real. They're measuring themselves against something that they think is attainable. Um, and don't get me wrong, some of this stuff is attainable. That's not my point. My point is that the perfection is not attainable, not even in Christ. There was one perfect man that walked this earth, and we're not that. We're not perfect. So to think that you're going to be rich and you think you should be rich, you should be skinny, um, your hair should be perfect. Your mate should look a certain way. You should drive a specific car. You shouldn't have any issues with your children. You're healthy. You're always happy. These are the images that we are pushed every day. Every day. Every time you open up this blue app, every time you hop on that Twitter scroll, every time all of that is what we're being pushed. And it is affecting the way people see themselves, because they're measuring themselves against something that isn't even real. He ended off, well, he didn't end off with this, but this stuck out to me. He said, I'm no better than any, but they pay me a pretty penny to sit and look pretty, not too big, not too skinny, be whatever these fans demand of me, because otherwise they probably wouldn't love me. And I thought, is that just in our own minds that we think people won't accept the real us? Um, because in a way, maybe it doesn't get you the likes and the hearts and the follows, but is that real acceptance. You see what I'm saying? So in our minds we think, okay, the real me, if I post my unfiltered self, I'm not going to get as many likes. If I'm a dude and I post my regular old car and I ain't got that much money, I'm not going to get that many likes. But are we being accepted though is the thing. And that's why I said I believe in a way, it's kind of our own minds telling us that they won't love or like the real us. The chorus say, listen what the chorus say. Um, the camera flash, the curtain calls, the credits roll down the screen. The critics laugh, they hate us all as they applaud. You see what I mean? They don't accept you anyway. The illusion that you're putting forward, all the energy you putting in to frame yourself up as this perfect individual, and they still laughing and they still don't accept you. They still don't love you. And I think that's the part that we got to really understand. Them likes and them hearts and them follows, that's not love and that's not acceptance. It's an illusion of all of that. And so Craig going deep here. Craig going deep. Let me play his second verse. Again, I do not own the copyrights to this music. Copyrights belong to LECRAE and the collaborators of this song. This is strictly for educational use and discourse. Let's hear this second part.
Goes on even after the curtains close. I smile and pose, put my signature on it close. They lift me up so high that I'm surely about to fall. The higher that I go, the more unforgiving they are. No grace and no exceptions, all they want is perfection. The man in the mirror can't even see his reflection. You live for their acceptance, you die from their rejection. But even if I fall, I fell in the right direction.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Great talking that talk here. What'd he say? The show goes on even after the curtain closed. Now he talking as an artist, a Christian artist to be exact. The show goes on even after the curtain closed. I smile and pose, put my signature on their clothes. They lift me up so high that I'm surely about to fall. The higher that I go, the more unforgiving they are. Man, come on. I asked the question, why do people take such joy in the fall of others, especially the fall of a Christian? Why is it do people take so much joy in watching somebody that they helped elevate, that they applauded, that they said was this, that they said was that, but if they get too high, you know they pulling you down. You coming down one way or the other. Either maybe of your own accord or because of the actions of other people. But why do people take so much joy in that? That's a question for the ages, especially when you think about, when you think about Jesus, how when he came in, how they laid the palm branches down and they was, oh man, and they praised him and they loved him. And less than a week later, they was calling for his head. They was calling for his head. They wanted him gone. They wanted him out of there. He too big. He saying too much. He talking too big. Too many people like him. It's the same way today. They lift me up so high that I'm surely about to fall. The higher that I go, the more unforgiving they are. The reason I believe that people are so unforgiving of people that they lifted up so high, and you may not agree with this, that's that envy. It's the envy and it's the expectation. We gave you this love. We gave you this love. We gave you this admiration. And now we need you to be what we want you to be. But you cannot be, if you ain't Jesus, you definitely can't be everything to all people. You can't. And so the moment that you don't meet the expectation of one sector of the people that lifted you up, guess what? They begin to pull you down. They begin to pull you down. And that's all to it. And when you get to the chorus of the song, we understand where Cray coming from because he's a believer. And as believers, we understand that no, we're not perfect. Yes, we make mistakes. Um, we don't always do the right thing. We don't always say what we should say. We don't always shut up when we should shut up. But guess what? I'm in the right hands. I'm in the right hands because I'm in the hands of the person that can help me make me better. And when he build me up, whoo, come on now. When he build me up, it don't matter what y'all try to do because I'm up in the eyes of the right person. You know what I mean? I may not be, hey, what Master P say, I may not be nothing to you, but I'm on this label. I may not be nothing to y'all, but I'm all of that to God. I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. And so if he believe that, then I can't worry about what y'all believe. I get myself around. I get myself around the applause for that. And so here's a part 2 that stuck out. He says, the man in the mirror can't even see his reflection. You live for their acceptance and die from their rejection. But even if I fall, I fell in the right direction. Come on, Craig. Come on, Craig. Come on, Craig. I'm going to say that again. The man in the mirror can't even see his reflection. You live for their acceptance. You die from their rejection. But even if I fall, I fell in the right direction. Listen, the man in the mirror can't even see his reflection. Why? The man can't see himself. He can't see himself because he's a prisoner of other people's expectations. And he's going to get further into that. The man in the mirror can't even see his reflection because he's seeing himself through the eyes, through the lens of social media, through the lens of other people, through the lens of what they say you should be, or the way you should act, or how men should behave, and all of these different things. He can't even see his own reflection. He can't see himself how God sees him because it's crowded. Because he's living for the acceptance of other people. And if you live for everybody else's acceptance, if that's what thrives you, the likes, the hearts, the follows, if that's what make you go, then when you don't get it, that's what it means. You die from their rejection. If you live for their acceptance, you're going to die from their rejection because your worth is wrapped up in them. Cray talking that talk. And he let you know, he not living like that. I'm not living like that. I'm not living like that because I'm not living for your acceptance. I'm living for the acceptance of the one up above. And with him, even when I fall, I fell in the right direction. Why? Because he's a Bible believer. And the Bible said just men fall 7 times. I often ask the question, well, then what made him just? That he got back up. You can't fall 7 times if you stay down. What make him just is the getting up. Man, we preaching in here tonight, man. I need somebody in here with me. That's all right. I don't need an amen. I let the church say amen. Tell it. No, but this is good stuff. This is good stuff because, and this is why I wanted young people to hear this. You have to know who you are. You have to understand what God say about you and not what social media tells you you are or what you should be or how skinny you should be or how you should talk or how many women you should have or how you should try and get over on men and all these different ideas that we see pushed. You need to know who you really are and what you really should be striving for and whose opinion really matters. And a lot of times it's not the people you think. Before we get into this next portion of it, though, we're going to take a quick commercial break right. West Michigan and all surrounding areas, your premier barber is indeed on the lake. Yes, on the lake in South Haven, Michigan at 201 Center Street, Suite C, right next to the historical Nichols Hotel. That's right, duck into the Shave Cave, where Master Barber Nate and Master Barber Nick offer a cut like no other. To get beamed up right, you can book online at the Booksy app under Shave Cave. The Shave Cave is open Tuesday through Friday, 10 to 7:30 p.m. and Saturday, 10:30 to 5 p.m. Special hours on May 2nd, through May 4th, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Remember the name, that's the Shave Cave, the cleanest cut in town. Yes. Listen, I'm feeling real good about this LECRAE breakdown because I'm about to get happy in here, and ain't nobody in here with me, so I'm gonna get happy all by myself. Y'all know I don't mind. But let's listen to this third piece. We're gonna listen to the third piece. And then we're gonna talk a little further. Remember, you need to like, share, and comment in order to be eligible to win at the end. So I just wanted to take a break because you got about 10 more minutes to like, comment, and share this live to be eligible for the money giveaway. I just wanted to put that out there. But let's listen to this next piece and see what LECRAE talking about.
Life is a cage, a prison to everyone's approval. Fight for acceptance and struggle so you don't ever lose it. But living for their acceptance has got us stressing. Insecure people obsessed with leaving impressions. Ladies spending time on their faces, painting pretty lines. To you and me it's makeup, to her it's a disguise. You look her in the eyes and see her soul cry. Cause living for other people's gotta live in a lie.
Ooh, we going deeper. LECRAE gonna be at the bottom of the well by the time we get to the end of this thing, and we can't even really go through the whole song because it's just so much. You know, we like to stay at a certain time frame. But listen, he said, "Life is a cage, a prison of everyone's approval. Fight for acceptance, then struggle so you don't ever lose it." You know, when he said that, I want to stop there because. When I was talking with my guest, our pre-show meeting, we talked about, because I know her personally, and she and I we talk all the time, and we talk about how we've reached a point in life and in our walk with Christ that we just determined that we would not be bound by people's expectations of what Christianity looks like, right? We just got to the point where it was like, listen, I cannot be bound by what people expect me to be. I know who I am. I know my weaknesses. I know where I fall short. I know where I allow God to have his way and where he uses me. I know this. And because I know this, I'm free from that prison. I'm free from the prison of everyone's approval. I'm not looking for their approval. You see what I'm saying? I'm not looking for them to tell me I am who they think I'm not looking for any of that. And so we talked about that being us breaking out of the cage. Because listen, I know I am not the typical what you typically think of when you think of a Christian or a missionary or any of those things, because I just got a different flavor, you know. Shout out now. Play mine. No, but I know, I understand that. And I know for some, they can't reconcile the two. I know for others, they accept me. That's why I love my church. I said that the other way. I said I love them because they allow me to be me, um, and know who I am, and know that I love the Lord, and know that, and allow me to be me, and understand that um, I'm not going to bring shame to them in any way, but you have to allow me to be me and understand that I'm not perfect. You see, and me embracing that allows me to speak to people who I maybe couldn't speak to if I was running around pretending like I had it all together. The only thing that I tell people is that I'm determined. I won't turn around. You see what I mean? So, where I fall down, I'm that just man or that just woman. I'm getting up because I'm determined. I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to go back. And so that is the cage. That is being free from it all. That's being free from it all. Um Here's the part where it kind of made me think though. He said, ladies, spending time on their faces, painting pretty lines. To you and me, it's makeup. To her, it's a disguise. I look her in her eyes and see her soul die. Cause living for other people gotta live in a lie. Come on. Come on. Now I'm a woman, every sense of the word. I'm a woman. I like makeup. I like earrings. I like dolling up. But it made me think, to what extent is that a disguise? To what extent is it a disguise? Um, and I think by no means am I saying that anybody that wears makeup is wearing a disguise. But what he's trying to get across is we all wear some form of a mask. You know what I mean? I'll tell you what I mean. When we go to work, there's this there's a we tone certain things down. Our decorum is a bit different. When we go to family houses, we're a certain way. We go to strangers' houses, we're slightly different than we're. So to an extent, we all wear these masks every day when we go out. When he talks about painting pretty lines, I can speak to, especially as a Black woman, having the message sent from going back centuries that we are not desirable, that we are, Black women are ugly, your curves is too much, you're too loud. All of these things that they've pushed to us for so long, that for some of us, until we really get to know ourselves and learn to love ourselves, um, we're painting pretty lines and we're covering up something that we find undesirable, not just in our looks, our nature. Um, we've covered up because we've had to take on roles that were not intended to be ours. And so we put on that cloak, that armor. And so um, that's what he's saying. To you, it's just, oh, she thinks she's cute. To you, it's just she's aggressive. But really, that is something put on to mask something that either they're not comfortable with, or that is a vulnerable spot, a vulnerable place, that you're trying to protect, if that makes sense to you. And so I think to some extent, Cray is right. And to some, it is a disguise. So I give him props for understanding that. This next verse, though, Cray going deep. Cray going deep. Remember, you must like, comment, and share if you want to be eligible to win the money at the end. I just want to throw that out there. So I'm about to play this last little piece here, and then we're going to talk about that because we are getting short on time. But let's listen to this. I do not own the copyrights to this music. Copyrights belong to LECRAE. and the collaborators. This is for educational purposes and discourse. Let's go.
Other people's gotta live in a lie. Hadn't slept in a day. Close his eyes and he prayed. Someone would miss him if he fell like a star out of space. But I'm sure they replace him, just a name and a face. They say they love you, but it's easy to fall from their grace. Live for everyone else, got you losing yourself. Why be a slave when you were made to be free from the guilt? To be free from the shame. You are more than a name. If you go down, you got the freedom to get up again.
Cameras flash, the curtain calls, credits roll down the screen. The critics laugh, they hate us all as they applaud. Listen what this man say. Haven't slept in a day, close his eyes and he pray. Someone would miss him if he fell like a star out of a space. But I'm sure they'd replace him, just a name and a face. They say they love you, but it's easy to fall from their grave. Ooh, Cray. I immediately, when I heard this, because some of this you can kind of attribute to the mentality of men versus women. Some of it fits us both, right? When he said he haven't slept in a day, closed his eyes and he prayed, someone would miss him if he fell like a star out of space. To me, that made me sad because I imagine people who feel like that, who no matter what they've achieved, no matter how big a star they are or how successful they are, or even if they're not, feel like if I left here, would they miss me? Or feeling like that's the only way they gonna ever show me love is when I'm gone. It speaks to a person, I think a male in particular, Black men, that sometimes feel invisible. The true them. You see what I mean? Because they too put on these outer appearances, the chains, and the big cars, and the bravado, and the tough talk, and all the different women. And they sometimes feel, and I'm not saying, I'm telling you what I've through conversation, they sometimes feel as people, they're only as valuable as what they have to give to somebody. You don't have to agree with it, but people feel how they feel. And if they feel that way, it comes from something. So to think, when I'm gone, I said this at my my little cousin's funeral. We always talk about when they gone, but what about while they're here? What about while they're here? Why do they have to be gone for us to embrace them? Why do they have to be gone? And here's the simple fact that LECRAE is telling you, and he's telling the truth. He said, will they miss me if I feel like a star in a place? But I'm sure they'll replace you. Just a name and a face. They say they love you, but it's easy to fall from their grace. This is particularly dear to a person who has lived a secular life and to those who have lived a Christian life. Because that is the one thing that we learn that is totally separate from what we learned in the world, what love is. The world told us love is a hurting thing. Ain't that what? Who said that? Elvis stole somebody's song and said that. Somebody, love is a hurting thing. Love is pain. We hear these messages all the time, and they couldn't be further away from the truth. What I learned when I left the secular ideas and moved over to a spiritual aspect through Christ, I learned that love is patient, love is kind, Love is not puffed up. Love doesn't behave unseemly. Love is gentle. Love is long suffering, right? That's when I figured it out. I had a light bulb moment. Can I get a light bulb moment? Do I have a light bulb moment?
Excellent.
Excellent. I had a light bulb moment. You know what's a hurting thing and what's painful? Lack of love. That's what hurts. That's what's painful. That's what's difficult is a lack of love. And then they say they love you, but it's easy to fall from that grace. That's because they don't love you. Because if they did, if they really loved you, if those likes and those hearts really meant they loved you, it wouldn't be so easy for you to be canceled. Wouldn't be so easy to fall from their graces because love is long suffering and love is kind. And so everything that we've constantly been taught about love is actually the lack of love. I give myself a round of applause for that. I give myself a round of applause for that. At the end, he said, why be a slave when you was made to be free from the guilt, to be free from the shame? You are more than a name. If you fall down, you got the freedom to get up again. This is the freedom that he's talking about. I don't care what nobody say. There is freedom. There is freedom in living a spiritual life. There's freedom in that. There's freedom in that because you're never cast away. You're never cast away. When we talk about the freedom to get up again, you're free to fall. You know what I mean? You can fall. You make mistakes. We all do. But you can get up and you don't have to be held to that. Your sins can be thrown into the sea of forgetfulness. You see what I mean? And that's the difference. People, you'll make a mistake, and some people, you'll never live it down. Y'all know, I tell people all the time, not only have I made mistakes when I came into salvation, you talking about backsliding. I did the doggone moonwalk. Forget a backslide. I moonwalked. I'm talking about moonwalked. I was back rolling up stunts. I was back turning up drink. I was doing everything again. And you know what? Contrary to what people would tell you, the people who judged me the most harshly was those outside of the church. Those were the ones who said, I told you. Look at her. She probably she never was changed. She just now being exposed. And I had been changed. You see what I mean? When my nephew died in that car crash, that sent me reeling. I'm talking about reeling. My friend will tell you, I called him and I said, I need a drink. Hadn't drank in years. But people said, I told you she never was changed. And they was unforgiving, no grace, no acceptance. Like he said, no grace and no acceptance. All they want is perfection. That's all they wanted. And the only people who told me it was okay was my church family, who prayed for me and said, you'll get back. You'll get back. Don't worry about it. And so I didn't have to be a slave to the guilt that I felt. Even now when I make a mistake, I don't live in my mistake. I don't attach myself to it. I got the freedom to get up again. That's what he said. And that's the freedom that comes with this new life. And I think Craig, not only did he hit it from the spiritual side, he hit it from the natural side. You don't have to be a believer. You don't have to be a believer in Christ to identify with the lyrics in this song right here. And I think all would agree with that we all can identify with what Craig is talking about right there. And I appreciate that about LECRAE. And that's why I say he's one of the coldest to ever do it. Y'all give it up for your boy Cray. Now we about to give some money away. But before we give the money away, it's time for another commercial break. Ladies, are you ready to get lashed? Do you want to blink meek? Well, let Shea Beauty help you complete the look. From getting your lips to popping and your lashes splashing, Shea Beauty has you covered with high quality lashes and makeup. Whatever your style is, there is a product that can accommodate you. You can book the look by contacting Ashia Simpson on Facebook. That's right, contact Ashia Simpson on Facebook. That's She a Beauty, where pretty girls learn to bat their eyes. Give it up for She a Beauty. Listen, it's time. It's time. We need wrestling music for this. It's time. It's time to give away some loot. Now, let us give me some trivia music. Get some trivia music. What we got? Hey! Listen, this is gonna be a simple giveaway. If you paid attention, you probably can get a couple of these. If not, then you weren't paying attention. Hold up, give me something different. I want something different. There we go. Give me something a little more laid back. Okay. So, these questions obviously are going to be surrounding the artist LECRAE, right? These questions are going to be $10 a piece. We're going back to the original format. You have a chance to win $30, get you some good gas money or some lunch money if you can answer all three of these correctly. Remember, if you have not liked, commented, and shared, you are not eligible for the giveaway. If you liked it and comment but didn't share, you're not eligible. If you commented and liked it and didn't share, again, you're not eligible. Wait a minute. If you shared it and commented but didn't like it, you're not. You get the point. You get where I'm going with it. So here are the questions. Remember, you need to put your answer in the comment section where it is time stamped and we can see who answers first. First question. How many Grammy nominations does LECRAE have? Back in elementary, I thrived on misery. Left me alone. I grew up amongst a dying breed. How many Grammy nominations does LECRAE have? That's question number one. I'm going to ask it again. How many Grammy nominations does LECRAE have? All right, y'all got that? Put your answers in the comment section. Question number two. What year was LECRAE a part of the BET Hip Hop Awards Cypher? I'm going to say that again. What year was LECRAE a part of the BET Hip Hop Awards Cypher? And he killed it when he was on it. He went dummy on it. Last time, what year was LECRAE a part of the BET Hip Hop Awards Cypher? Last question. Who is the singer featured on LECRAE's song, I'll Find You? Y'all heard that? Who is the singer featured on LECRAE's song, I'll Find You? One more time for y'all. Who is the singer featured on LECRAE's song, I'll Find You? All right. I'm about to give you the answers. Any answers that come after this do not qualify. Just want to put that out there. How many nominations does LECRAE have? Anybody? 6. LECRAE has 6 Grammy nominations. That was the answer. How many Grammy nominations does LECRAE have? The answer is 6. Question number 2. What year was LECRAE a part of the BET Hip Hop Awards Cypher? Did anybody get it? I'll tell you. 2011. And he murdered it. You need to go YouTube it. Your boy killed it. LECRAE is top 10. I want somebody to prove me wrong. If y'all go through his catalog, LECRAE is top 10 rapper of all time. Don't argue with me on that. Last question. Who is the singer featured on LECRAE's song, I'll Find You? Y'all know that. Fight a little longer, my friend. It's all worth it in the end. That is Tori Kelly. That is Tori Kelly. There you have the answers. LECRAE has 6 Grammy nominations. He was on the 2011 BET Hip Hop Awards Cypher, and Tori Kelly was the singer on I'll Find You. And that is our trivia for today. And I'm really, you know what? I wrote it out solo, but you know what? I think we did all right. I think y'all rock with me, and I think we got through that. And I think that was a good conversation. And we just want to, as we do on Behind Bars, we want to shout out our Behind Bars sponsors for this season. This season is rapidly coming to an end. You do not want to miss the season finale is in 2 weeks. And so you definitely don't want to miss that. But we want to shout out our Behind Bars sponsors. That is Pretty. We want you to go shop Pretty at Etsy.com. You can search Pretty and search all of the newest looks. You can also go on A&D One Stop and purchase those Z69 and area code t-shirts. Want to shout out Agarco Events, who's been a Behind Bars sponsor all season long. Your go-to for event planning and space rental. We want to shout out Closer to Home Adult Foster Care. If you need placement for special needs family members, you need to get in touch with Pamela Wilkins Mahone at Closer to Home Adult Foster Care. They do a phenomenal job. Shout out to them. And as always, go stream that Big Play on all platforms and support your boy Big Play. That's all the time we have this week. We want to thank you for joining us on here at Behind Bars, the podcast that goes behind the bars of local and national artists, as well as discusses the culture in real time. Because as I always say, a life lived, it's a bar. We out.